Hey guys, Chelsea from Attention to Details. Today we're going to be working on this C-Max. This was actually a work vehicle that my customer had purchased, and work vehicles for some reason are not well taken care of typically. The exterior is not going to be too big of a challenge. We just need to do a really good wash, clean, seal. But the interior is where the bulk of the challenge is going to lie. Work vehicles, like I said, they're just not well maintained, and this one definitely has a ton of dirt on the interior. It was used by an electrician, and so there's just a lot of mud. But the biggest issue, actually, you can't see it, you can smell it. There is a musty odor on this interior that it's very overwhelming. The customer had tried to pressure wash the mats on the interior and had put them back in the vehicle before they were fully dry. He assumed the heat and the sun would finish drying them out, but what happened is on the underside of the mats, mold and mildew started to grow, and that odor took over the interior. Now, he did try to treat it with some vinegar and baking soda, and you can see there's like a white powder all over everything, all of the plastics, all of the impossible carpet, all of the seats, and he even mixed it with white vinegar. So now we have a crustified mess that really did nothing to remove the odor. I don't know why a lot of customers try to use the vinegar and baking soda mix and then they don't think to clean it up, vacuum it up, or extract it. You can't just sprinkle all that stuff around and then let it sit. It's not going to do much of anything. You actually have to vacuum it up, and it may not necessarily be foolproof. At this point, we need to do a thorough extraction, remove all of the attempts the customer did, as well as treat our mold and mildew. So we're going to start on the exterior. Now, we are in the middle of a drought and a heat wave here in Lancaster. It is ridiculously hot. So I'm actually going to be using my Ego blower to try to cool me off because it is insanely hot. We're going to start off with our door jambs. They've never been cleaned. We want to try to prevent any additional issues with moisture on the interior. So we're going to clean all of the seals and drains from our door jambs and along the roof out really good. Doing this takes maybe 5 minutes of work, and you can see all I'm doing is spraying a Dark Fury and then using my pressure washer to strategically use the pressure from the water to pull all of the dirt out of our seams. This will also help prevent any sort of rust accumulating in those areas. Most oftentimes, that's where you're gonna see rust start to kick in first on a vehicle, is your door jambs as well as your trunk areas. So the better you can maintain your door jambs, the better you can prevent rust in those sneaky little areas. Thank God for my pop-up tent. This is the 13 by 13 Coleman tent. I know a lot of you guys ask about this. It's actually a very windy day, so we've got some cinder blocks anchoring it down so that way it doesn't blow into the car, because yes, that can happen. But we're going to, as quickly as possible, get our tires and wheels and wheel wells cleaned, as well as do a good rinse, foaming pre-soak, and our contact wash in between, cooling myself down. And then after we're done doing our contact wash with our Koshemi Active Foam, we're going to also do a clay towel treatment to remove any sort of body contaminants from this paint, because we are starting to have some issues with rail dust or orange spots on the paint that, if left untreated, could turn to rust. Now this vehicle, the paint is looking a little bit dull. I wish I could polish it, but it's just not in the customer's budget. And we're also dealing with extreme temps. So I have to be very careful with what product I use, because I'm looking to get out of this heat as quickly as possible, but still give me good results. It is 93 degrees and about 1,000% humidity. We just got done doing our wash and chemical decon and clay towel treatment. And the customer just wants kind of a wash, clay, and seal. We're gonna test out the SO.O3 from Koshemi. This is actually a premium wet sealant concentrate. You foam it on, rinse it off. Allow it to react briefly, rinse off the product thoroughly to avoid stains. So I'm all about easy, especially in this moment. I mean, hopefully I don't set myself up for, some high spots or issues, but let's give it a try. Nice fruity smell. We're gonna start there. But we're gonna fill this up all the way. works. Here's to hoping, right?
It's not a thick foam like soap, but you could instantly see this was a unique product.
Holy cow, you can instantly see beading. Like, instantly.
It almost looked like milk being sprayed on the vehicle.
This paint was flat as can be. Let's give this a rinse. Holy crap on a stick, is this fun. You can see where we didn't spray kind of has lost some of that hydrophobicity. So we let it dwell for a few seconds just enough to kind of switch everything off. But the areas that our SO.O3 came in contact, that looks fantastic. My one thing that I'm gonna wait and see after we dry, I wanna make sure that we don't have high spots, but I can say the longer I'm rinsing it, some of those beads are falling off. So is this more of a drying aid? This leads me to believe, and again, I would have to find out the chemistry part of it. This leads me to believe that this is more as a drying aid, not as a long-term protectant.
I reached out to my local Koshemi rep and he said that this typically will last around 3 months, but you can layer it with each additional wash as well. And it can also be applied with a foam cannon, pump sprayer, and even a spray bottle.
That should not be diminishing that quickly from me just rinsing it. We still have something there. It's not gone, but it's nowhere near what it was when it was fresh. Okay, I'm not gonna say don't buy it, because if you need a rinse aid or a drying aid, that right there definitely gives you hydrophobics. But if you're looking for it to be kind of like a durable spray and rinse product, you'll probably still have to top it.
Off camera, I actually refoamed the side that we had just done to put a fresh, stronger layer on there versus a diminished side. And I'm wondering with this product if a shorter rinse cycle is better to give you stronger hydrophobics and then give it time to cure. I'm also going to let the product sit on there a little longer. Most spray and rinse products you have to immediately rinse off to avoid high spots, but if we let it sit on there longer, does that affect the durability? I'm not sure if this makes a difference, but on this side, I did a shorter rinse versus what I had done initially on the other side to try to give this a better chance of lasting.
It's definitely a solvent-based product, because you can see kind of that petroleum ring where the water is. Dry. It's definitely improved the gloss on this paint, because I was actually thinking we were going to have to polish. It really didn't have a lot of shine to it. It's brought back a ton of shine to this paint, even without polishing it. I'm not seeing, at this point, any issues with like staining on our glass, so that's good. We even let it sit there a little bit longer. We're done. We washed and waxed. All in our easy steps as far as doing our wash. We're all done. The paint looks great. Let me show you guys kind of what our finished result looks like. Before we started washing on this, I honestly was thinking I was gonna have to polish it because our paint looked pretty dull. Now, after doing our wash, our clay towel treatment, doing that spray and rinse SO.O3, our paint has really nice gloss. I don't have to polish it at this point. We were able to help remove some of the heavier rail dust on this back trunk area with our reactive rust remover. That's one of my favorite to kind of just make the clay towel treatment easier. It really, really breaks down a lot of that rail dust. But we were able to wash, decontaminate, and protect in just basically our wash and clay step. I didn't have to dry it off and then go a third step with applying protection. Especially on this hot day where I've got a ton of work to do on the interior. This paint feels nice and silky smooth, really nice slickness from our SO.O3. So very impressed with how quick and easy. Durability is the only issue that I might have with it, but if you're just looking for quick and easy, you could use this every time you wash your vehicle just to kind of freshen up the protection, or maybe you have a ceramic sealant, you just want to do a quick top. I think that's a great route to go. Maybe mobile detailers, dealership car detailers,
If you're looking for quick and easy, it doesn't get any better than that. And honestly, it was really fun to just kind of foam it on and instantly see those hydrophobics kick in. Even if we let it sit on there for about a minute, we don't have staining on the paint. Very quick to wash off, not a lot of residue. But we're finally able to get this pulled into the garage, turn the AC on, and start on this interior.
We vacuumed the interior off camera because it took about 2 hours from start to finish for me to get all of the caked on baking soda and vinegar out of the carpets, as well as all of the mud. And we had to use some very stiff brushes in order to accomplish that. But now that we have everything vacuumed, we're going to come in and extract. Now, I could use my mighty heated extractor, but we have some odd angles with this interior. And honestly, I'm so tired at this point. My Aqua Pro Vac is a lot easier for me to use. So we have hot water in our Aqua Pro Vac, and we're using our heavy duty enzyme cleaner from Superior Products. This does a fantastic job of going after odor causing elements within your fabric or upholstery. It rinses away easily, and it does a great job at removing heavy soiling. It's one of my favorites when we've got bad interiors like this that I need a little bit more odor relief and deep cleaning capabilities. As I'm extracting these carpets, I see we could be dealing with a lot of different issues. Some of the soiling could be from mud, some of it could be from coffee or tannin stains, but my gut says that maybe this vehicle was actually smoked in. Some of this looks like nicotine damage, and nicotine will actually act like a glue holding dirt into the carpet. It almost makes it sticky to the touch. So we're going to have to do a really thorough job of extracting our carpets so that way we don't deal with wicking. Now, they are black carpets. They're very forgiving. If this was gray or tan, it would be a whole nother issue that we're dealing with. But we are definitely going to go heavy with extraction on this interior.
So it's about 5:50 at night, and we've been working on this all day. Finally have the vacuuming and the extraction done. My kids actually came out and helped clean all the plastics and glass, just kind of a rough preliminary. We're still gonna go over everything a second time. Even with a magic eraser, this was like sludge. It literally just was caked on. So we're gonna go over everything just a second time very quickly. There was a lot of mud that it almost has stained the plastics, but the steering wheel looks a lot cleaner. Everything just looks a lot brighter. This is just where my kids, maybe they might struggle with some of these tighter areas, so we're just going to come in with the detail brush and blower and fine tune all the little nooks and crannies. But our seats, we're trying to get everything dry as quickly as possible, so that way it's dry when the customer comes to pick it up. The issue that they had with this interior and what kind of added to the problem is that they tried to pressure wash their mats at the car wash, didn't necessarily extract them or let them dry fully, put them in the vehicle, and they just kind of sat, and within a couple of days mold and mildew started to grow on the mats. He let the mats air out for like 2 months thinking, oh, the sun will kill it, put them back in the vehicle, and the smell has returned. So I told him just throw the mats away. I honestly would just recommend getting the all-weather mats. It's going to make it a lot easier for him to maintain the impossible carpet floors as well. But honestly, my kids did a great job. We used the Does It All enzyme cleaner from Superior Products. Has an enzyme within it that's going to help kill odor-causing bacteria. So even our hard plastic surfaces, we used an enzyme cleaner. Our seats, we used their heavy-duty enzyme cleaner, and you can see our seats and everything cleaned up beautifully. It smells 1,000 times better. I love working with this cleaner because it has a really nice citrus smell. You can actually see, I was using my Aqua Pro Vac. You can see just how dirty our water was. We have hot water in here, but with our heavy duty cleaner, you can see just how much. But what I love about this is you're not chasing a lot of residue. You don't see a lot of foam in here because it just very quickly pulls up the cleaning residue and the dirt, and you don't have to empty your water as frequently because of foam. But you can just see it's kind of a mess in here because it has been quite a bit of work. We still have a little bit ahead of us. We have to get everything dry. But for the most part, kind of really difficult interiors like this, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the ones that for the first time in a while, I thought it was going to beat me. I didn't think I was going to be able to get this done. It is a later day and the customer wants it done in one day. So that's kind of putting us on a time crunch. he realistically wanted us to do an ozone treatment. And I said, it's going to be too wet. I can't do that today. So he's actually going to use the BioBombs chlorine dioxide system and do that at home. I sent him the video and sent him the link to all the products. So he said he can easily take care of that himself. So the customer is going to do that at his own time once everything is dry. But for the most part, this job, we're like 95% there. I just wanted to kind of quick show you guys what a little bit of elbow grease, the right chemicals can do. The bulk of this was honestly vacuuming and using really stiff brushes just to try to get, I even actually was using a gold metal brush in some areas because he had actually put down vinegar and baking soda all over the carpets. One of the biggest issues that the customer did, he kind of created for himself because there was a mold or a musty odor on the interior. To try to kill the mold spores, he actually put vinegar and baking soda all over everything, and it just kind of turned to a sludge and crusted over, and it kind of just trapped everything. I think we also may have some smoking going on. There was either that or it was just a lot of sludge and mud that was just kind of holding everything in place. But you can see we're going to put a good dressing on all these plastics just to try to bring back a little bit of the color. But the right chemicals, the right tools, we were able to make a huge improvement on this interior.
It wouldn't be a good transformation detail if I didn't remind you what our interior looked like before we started this whole process. I'm pretty sure with the level of dirt that was on this interior, it would have made for a really interesting petri dish experiment. And now, the satisfying after. I'm not even sure if the customer needed to do the BioBombs treatment afterwards because with our chemicals and cleaning alone, we were able to drastically improve the smell and appearance of this interior. And you might be thinking, her voice sounds different. Well, that's because I've developed laryngitis while in the middle of editing this video, and it's definitely not easy being able to get all this footage filmed, do the detail as well as edit it, being a mom, having a detailing business, having a YouTube channel, and still trying to make time to spend with my family. So I appreciate each and every one of you and the patience you guys have with me editing content for you guys. Sometimes it can add 1 to 2 hours to a detail to film this footage, and then sometimes it takes me even a week or more just to edit one video to the next. I'm actually working on content from last fall. That's how backed up I am, but I am determined to create excellent content for you guys, and hopefully you've enjoyed videos like this, have learned something, and if you have, make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos because I think we're gonna have some really great content coming out for you guys. If you have any questions about detailing or about the products that we used, let me know in the comment section down below. But as always, thank you guys for your support. Thank you for tuning in, and we will hopefully see you guys in the very next detail.